Happy Sabbath, everyone. This dedicated time has been set aside to honour our Ponsonby Seventh-day Adventist Church building. In respect of the tangata whenua, the people of this land, we acknowledge the sacred ancestral land that has been the foundation of this building for many years. This weekend marks 134 years of its location on this site. It is only fitting, therefore, to share a brief history of the early church in Ponsonby with a PowerPoint presentation. Thank you for your presence and prayers as we share a significant part of our building's history. The Seventh-day Adventist Church was introduced into New Zealand with the visit of Pastor Stephen Haskell in 1885. On arrival in Auckland from Melbourne, Australia, he was given accommodation in the home of Edward Hare on Turner Street. As a result of enduring discussions, Edward Hare and his wife Elizabeth became Seventh-day Adventists and encouraged Pastor Haskell to visit the extended Hare family in Kaeo, a small village approximately 209 kilometres north of Auckland. The result was the conversion of most of the members of that large family and the formation of the first church in New Zealand. When Pastor Haskell returned to America at the end of 1886, he gave glowing reports of the progress of the church down under, and as a result, Pastor Arthur Daniels was sent to pioneer evangelism in Auckland. He pitched his tent on a prominent position on the corner of Williamson Avenue and Ponsonby Road in the suburb of Surrey Hills, later known as Ponsonby. We know this today as Western Park. The first meeting was held on Wednesday evening, December 29, 1886, after which a 17-week campaign followed until April 25, 1887, when the church was lowered. In spite of favourable comment from the newspapers, the meeting stirred up theological controversy. However, with the assistance of the Hare family, Pastor Daniel's meetings proved successful, resulting in 54 people deciding to keep the Seventh-day Sabbath, and a Sabbath school of 78 members was formed. Those that stepped out to observe the Sabbath quickly laid plans for the building of a church in which they could worship. A few years earlier, in 1883, James Williamson, a prominent businessman, and Thomas Crummer, a land merchant, sold their 120-hectare piece of land known as the Surrey Hills Farm. The land was subdivided for residential sale as the Surrey Hills Estate, one of Auckland's first major commercial housing developments. A block of land on McKelvey Street was purchased, which was just around the corner from the location where the tent had been pitched. The building of the church commenced with those not yet baptised participating in the work. The Hare family made a major contribution to the effort and supplied the timber from which the pews were constructed. The kauri timber panel building was completed in July 1887, but Pastor Daniels delayed baptising the new converts until he was sure they were ready and fully committed. Sabbath afternoon, October 15, 1887, the new believers met to organise themselves into a church. 67 people presented themselves for baptism and membership. Edward Hare and his wife Elizabeth were the founding members as this new church was formed and the building dedicated. They remained members of their beloved Ponsonby Church throughout their long lives. Originally known as the Surrey Hills Church because of its locality in what was then known as Surrey Hills, the Ponsonby Church was the first Seventh-day Adventist church building in the Southern Hemisphere and has been a centre of worship in the city of Auckland since 1887. In closing, there have been many steps of our pioneers, sharing, inviting, welcoming, embracing all humanity, who worship and continue to worship in this building. As each is called and then laid to rest, we must never forget the history that connects us and reminds us of God's leading and purpose in our lives. We are reminded of the church covenant. We, the undersigned, hereby associate ourselves together as a church, taking the name Seventh-day Adventists and covenanting to keep the commandments of God in the faith of Jesus. This week, 15th of October 2021, marks the 134th anniversary of the establishment of the building that we know as our church hall. We have nothing to fear for the future, except as we shall forget the way the Lord has led us and his teaching in our history. Counsels for Church, page 359a. Thank you for your gracious time and attention. Happy Sabbath, everyone. Amen.